fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Decepticon Flamewar with Fireglide from the Transformers Shattered Glass line from Hasbro. So packaging looks really cool. I always love the color scheme for the Shattered Glass line. You get the Shattered Decepticon symbol over here, and then you have the purple that kind of transitions into the magenta. Really cool. I like that a lot. We have some nice artwork for Flamewar here on the front, and then on the sides it's really just the exact same artwork. Just different levels of magnification, a little bit wider shot here on the side. Just got the logo up top, not really much going on the bottom. And then on the back here we have some product shots. We have robot mode, vehicle mode, and then we have Fireglide over here. This is that same like Terra Axdol or whatever its name was back in Siege. This mold's been kicking around for a while, so just included one here for some reason, I guess just to kind of drive that price point up. Yeah, so pretty cool packaging. I'm going to go ahead and open this up and then we'll take a closer look. Here is Flamewar and Fireglide out of the packaging. I guess we'll start with Fireglide first. First off, I love the name Fireglide. I think that's a really fun name. I like it a lot. He's okay. Not really much going on with him. He's really just the two colors of red and black. And he's just, you know, different color molded plastic. The only paint he has is that little bit of yellow for the eyes. But it works. I mean, it's fine. Like I said, this mold's been kicking around for a while since Siege, so he's a little pterodactyl. He transforms into an axe. You just kind of bring the arms down like that. You flip the head in, and then you flip this out and flip the little feet in, and now it is an axe. Or if you want it to be, you can kind of do it as a gun as well. Now, I believe they included this with her because she traditionally has like a crossbow, and so you could kind of put these like out to the side, you know, to make like kind of a crossbow. The only other thing I could think of is maybe you could actually pop these out. Well, you kind of pop these out, and then you could put this like this, but it still doesn't really look that great because, you know, this part's so far down here. It would be nice if you could mount them up here or something. Anyway, I'm going to put this back as it was. So I'm guessing that they're trying to go for a crossbow with this because it kind of looks like one. It's just that these are kind of facing the wrong direction. So you could switch them around if you wanted. They're just like those little friction pegs. So as you can see, you could pop that out kind of easily. But otherwise, he's just an axe if you want to do something like this. And he does come with that effect piece. So you can go ahead and peg this in. So that way it looks like, you know, when you smash down, you get the effect piece. And they actually have it shaded. There's another color orange there, which I think looks pretty cool. I like that a lot. Some nice little paint app there. But yeah, just you can see it's got the two pegs and then the one rectangular peg slot, and that just pegs onto either side. Either one will work. So peg that in there. And then you can put this in her hand. It's a little tight, but I promise it can go in there. There you go. And then she's wielding Fireglide. And it looks cool, and the color schemes, you know, coincide with each other, so I think it works. I will say that because he's so heavy, it's kind of difficult. Well, alright, there we go. I was going to say, it kind of sometimes makes the arm droop just because he's so heavy, but... And then if you want to try to use it as the crossbow, we can kind of pop this out and then have her hold it like this. So there you go. So it's all right. It's cool. You know, I don't think it needed to be included, but I understand why they included it. And, you know, we've gotten this mold plenty of times at this point, but hey, what's one more? It's a fun little color scheme. So we'll put him off to the side. Now we can check out Flamewar. She looks great, honestly. I think they did a really nice job. As you can probably tell, this is a repaint of Transformers Legacy Prime Universe RC. But I mean, in fiction, Flamewar really has always kind of been a repaint of RC, so this repaint totally makes sense. Not really sure why they stuck her in the Shattered Glass universe. I'm just guessing maybe they didn't have another line to release her under. I guess they didn't want to do Generations or whatever. But she looks good. I think she looks really good. Let's take a look at the head sculpt here. Really nice. She actually has light piping. You can't really see it that much, but you can kind of see if I take it away. But she's got this translucent purple for the eyes, and then she's got the light piping right there, so that looks really cool. I love the red and the yellow. That looks really sharp. Silver for the face looks really good. You have that kind of reddish pink Decepticon symbol there, since they are the heroes this time around. And then you have the flame patterning here on the chest, which looks really cool. Nice silver here in the abdomen, red down here for the waist. And then you have some yellow here on the wrists, red up here, and a lot of red and yellow down here. And even like a little bit of metallic bluish purple on the ankles. So all in all, I think it's a really great color scheme, really nice paint applications. You have some translucent purple here for the windshield, which is the same as the head. And then you have the wheel down here. Now, when you get this out of the box, you do have to connect this piece. It's kind of the windshield and the two sides. That pegs in. And then you have to peg in the wheel as well, so they come separately in the box. But you can take the wheel off, and you can actually split this down the center here. So you could have this. They have you have it in her hand like it's a weapon, but I don't really see how it's a weapon. If anything, it kind of just looks like a drone to me. So if you wanted to pretend she had like a little drone to spy on people, you could do that. Alternatively, you can rotate this down ever so slightly, and there's a peg hole back here, and you can peg this in here, and then rotate this back up a little bit, just to give her a little bit of a different look. I kind of like that, honestly. I like it both ways. I think it looks good with or without it, but I do kind of like the look of that on there as well. It just gives a little bit more character, and it really doesn't get in the way. The backpack's really not too bad in terms of getting in the way of any articulation, and even with this, I feel like the shoulder movement isn't compromised. You have a hinge out to the side, and then you have a rotation. Now, if you're going all the way around, obviously it's going to hit into that, but I feel like it was going to hit into this anyway, so I don't think that's doing any extra damage. You have a bicep swivel there. You have 90 degrees in the elbow. Do we have a wrist rotation? We do have a wrist rotation. That's nice. Head can look up really, really far. You have a ball joint there. You can look down ever so slightly. You can certainly turn side to side, no problem. You can tilt a little bit side to side, not too much. You have a waist swivel. You kind of have to... Well, actually, yeah, there is a waist swivel in there, but it's a little weird. You can see it's kind of back in here. So like it swivels back there, but then when you kind of bring this up to click it into place, it's harder to utilize, but I guess it's technically still in there. Ball joint for the hip. You can kick really far forward, pretty far back. The backpack actually doesn't get in the way, and then pretty far out to the side. So she's got really great hip articulation. She's got a thigh swivel. These kind of tend to come off because of transformation, so you just have to make sure that you actually grab the whole leg, and you can get your 90 degrees out of the knee. And then you do have side-to-side ankle tilt. You have a little bit of the toe moving forward, but that's really for the transformation, so it's mostly just the side-to-side ankle tilt. But all the articulation you'd want, and if you're familiar with the Legacy RC, it's the same mold, so it's the same articulation as that. But this is a really nice repaint. I think they did a good job. I think this color scheme really works, and I think they did a really great job. The flame patterning especially, I think, looks really, really good. And just overall, she looks great. Oh, I did forget to mention, she comes with this thing, just like Legacy RC did. You can have her hold it if you want. You can peg that into the hand, or you can split it apart, and then you can kind of connect it here on the arm as like blades, if you'd like, or she could hold it as some kind of bladed weapon. These don't do anything for me. I mean, they're included because they came with RC. I feel like this was, you know, that Energon-infused gimmick that I feel like they gave up on after the first wave. We don't need it. It's fine. I mean, it doesn't offend me that it's included, but I also don't really get anything out of it. It's just a circle that comes in half, and you can peg it in various places. It's really not that exciting. So I think the figure looks great. I really would have preferred just like a simple blaster, as opposed to that weird translucent circle thing. But at least we do have Fireglide, sorry. Flamewar Fireglide. I'm going to mix that up. But in any case, yeah, we have this at least, so this can be a weapon or an axe, so we have that. This thing, I just don't think is really that great. Alright, getting into transformation, it's exactly the same as Legacy Prime Universe RC, so if you've handled that figure, you already know what to do. You're going to take these forearm panels, and they are going to shift slightly down over the hands, like that. If you had the wheel piece connected back here, you're going to want to take that off and put it back here, because this is where it needs to be for the vehicle mode. And then you're going to just extend this out and all the way up, and then you're going to rotate this around over the head. And there's kind of this super tiny little spot right there that the head crest spike is going to kind of rest in. So just like that, and then you can kind of leave this like so. You are going to bring this kind of crotch plate down a little bit, bring this down, and then you want to rotate 180 degrees. This was that joint I was talking about earlier where it's not 100% accessible in the robot mode, but you can kind of get to it and manipulate it a little bit. We're going to kind of move this. No, actually, I'd come back to this way. There we go. This goes up here like this. The hands are going to come, straighten out, and then rotate at the bicep 90 degrees. And then you can see that there's a hinge here. This is going to rotate down. And there's kind of like the tiniest little notch right there that this peg on the forearm is going to kind of sit in. It doesn't really peg in, it just kind of guides it. So you want to have that sit in there, and then the two hands will peg into each other like so. And that's going to be the back of the bike. So you can see the bike already kind of taking shape. So this is kind of neat. So this is going to come up and kind of sit flush with this section. And you want to push that up, and so that they kind of sit flush with each other. You're going to fold up the toe. Then you're going to rotate out. This was what I was telling you before, how the knees kind of come apart. So we're going to do that. Then you're going to flip out the wheel piece like this. And then you can already see this kind of start to happen. There's a little spot here and a little tab here. And that's going to tab in just like that. So we're going to come over here to the other leg, flip this out, fold in the foot, flip this around. This comes, pegs in there. And then you have to bring the legs around. Make sure you're actually turning the hip and not just the thigh, which is a little easier said than done, quite honestly. There we go. And then this is going to kind of sit all the way against the body while this kind of wraps around and then forms the bottom of the bike. So we're going to do this on both sides. That one was much easier. Just going to make sure that's out of the way. And then this is going to come underneath, and then the two wheels are going to peg together. You have to line up the pegs and the peg holes. There we go. So there's kind of the whole bottom of the bike right there. And just kind of make sure everything's in. And then as a last step, this panel is going to fold over, and there's a little tab right there, which is going to tab in right there. And it can be a little bit of a pain to line up, but just grab it and peg that in. And it tabs in pretty securely, which is nice because it really does kind of hold the bike mode together, honestly. There we go. Okay, and there we are. There is the bike. You can flip out the little kickstand. Just make sure everything's kind of lined up. I think I have some things slightly misaligned, but for the most part, there is the little motorcycle. So here is the bike mode. I think it looks pretty great. You got the little flame decal here. You have the nice pops of yellow and red kind of throughout the bike. Really just makes it really pop against the black. I think that looks really good. You have the translucent blue for the headlights and the windshield. And just all in all, I think it's a really good color scheme. I mean, I have to admit that this wasn't my favorite mold from the first wave of Legacy. It was okay. But I actually think it works a little better as Flamewar. I just think this color scheme suits it a little better. And everything just really works. It's a really, really nice color scheme here. Now, you do still have that wheel piece here. And if you want to put this around, the instructions show you to kind of peg it here on the back of the bike if you want. Then you definitely can't have a passenger because that would be painful. If you otherwise want, you can peg them on down here. Again, this doesn't really do anything for me. I mean, I feel like it's a little bit more successful in the bike mode as opposed to the robot mode, but I still just think these are just superfluous, you know, pieces so they can say, hey, we gave you an interesting weapon. It's like, just give us a blaster. We just want a random, normal blaster. I don't really need any weird translucent circles. If you want, you can try to peg this guy in. Let's see what we can do. Is there anywhere this can... I guess you could peg it in... I don't know if that'll clear. Probably not. Yeah, unfortunately, he doesn't really lend himself. I mean, I guess you could peg it in here on the back. I wanted to have it facing forward, but you could have him watching her back. It's alright. Again, at least the color schemes integrate. Like, I feel like the red and the black match well. even with the paint, I feel like the plastic red on here is not perfect, but fairly close to the painted red. They never match completely, especially when you're painting a dark color on top of an even darker color. It's always going to show up darker than just the molded plastic, but it's fairly close. It's not too bad. So yeah, all in all, I think this bike mode really works. I think Flamewar looks great. I think Flamewar is great. Honestly, I kind of think it's a better use of the mold than Prime RC. I just think this color scheme really works. I like the flames painted on both the robot mode and the vehicle mode. The head sculpt looks great in this color scheme. There's even some light piping there. Really, really works. I like that kind of dark bluish purple translucent plastic for both the head and the windshield and the headlights in vehicle mode. Just overall, I think she looks really great. Nice articulation, transformations, a little wonky at first, but once you do it once or twice, it's fine. I even like the inclusion of Fireglide. I think, one, that's a really great name. Yes, we've seen that mold a few times, and he's been kind of making the rounds since Siege, but it's a decent mold, and I think it works here, especially because she's kind of known to have a like crossbow weapon, so I think that's kind of the best they could do here. But yeah, all in all, I think it's pretty cool. I don't really know why it was included under Shattered Glass. If you have some insight into that, feel free to school me in the comments below. But either way, it's a great figure, and I'm glad they got it out to us. I think we all kind of expected this from Prime RC when she was first announced, because, you know, Flamewar has kind of always been a repaint of RC as a motorcycle, so this repaint just totally made sense, and I think they did a really great job with it. So I definitely recommend checking it out, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.